Edgar TV. How do you guys? Welcome back to Edgar TV. I'm going to do this quick. It's going to be a very quick intro. I've just got back from the PDC Autumn Series over in Germany, and while we was there we did a live stream. Myself, Ryan Searle and Glenn Durant. It was an Ask Me Anything question and answer based session where we just sat on here, had a chat box going, and we answered as many questions as we physically could in an hour and 40 minutes. It was on for quite a while. This video is what I think are the highlights, so I've clipped it down to some good moments. The full video is available if you want to watch that on Edgar TV. It's under the Matthew Edgar Ryan Searle thumbnail. If you want to go over there, check that out. But this is the highlights, guys. If you are new to here, hit the subscribe button, join the Edgar Nation. Ryan Searle, I think, I'm almost certain, I heard earlier anyway, that it's 100% confirmed for the World Grand Prix. So I'm going to give you that question first. So the World Grand Prix, Ryan, was something you was looking forward to. Is it the double start format, or was it the fact that it's in Dublin that you're looking forward to the most?
Double start for sure. I think, like, I've always enjoyed double start, even when I first started playing in my local pub team. I think it's something that I'm pretty decent at. It's pretty gutting it's not in Dublin, but just try and do our best.
Stephen Lamore, who is Ryan's practice partner?
Don't have one.
So you just like
practice all on my own.
Bit of a solo practice.
Bit of a loner, yeah.
Yeah. I'm a bit like that. I prefer practicing.
I don't mind practicing with people, but I like to practice someone that's a similar standard to sort of push you and get you going, rather than playing someone that's not that good. I don't think that really does you any good.
Is there anyone in your area who you'd like to practice with, who maybe is just a little bit too far to do regularly, but you'd like to do every now and then?
Gary Anderson is the one I'd love to practice with.
Yeah.
He's not a big practicer, is he? So I was tempted to get hold of him because doesn't live that far away from me. He's like 45 minutes. So
right.
If we could arrange sort of once a week to do that, that'd be cool. But
I mean, who doesn't want this? I mean, look, we're laying on beds on Sunday night for we've probably spent at least in these beds 40 hours in the last couple of days. This is what it's about, guys. This is the real darting extravaganza, shall we say.
I think that's what people don't realise as well about being a professional dart player. They don't realise how much time you spend just doing absolutely nothing. Like you qualify for your Euro Tour, you can play on like a Friday afternoon in front of about 10 people. If you lose, sometimes you're stuck there all the way till Sunday night because you've got your flight home on Sunday night. And yeah, it's hard to kill time. It is boring, but that's not me moaning. But this is.
Well, it's like this, a lot of people say like, oh, it must be lovely, you get to go to all these different countries and things, and like now we're in Germany, but from what we've seen of Germany, we saw the airport, we got picked up by a minibus from the PDC collecting us because we've not had to get transport and things. So we got collected there, we got brought straight to the hotel, and we've been in the hotel. We're not allowed to leave the hotel, so we're here for 6 days, and then as soon as we finished here, the PDC take us back to the airport, and because we've got to do a form or something to help us get through, and then that's it. We're back home again, and that's what we see of Germany. We see the airport, the taxi. So yeah, it's not a rock and roll lifestyle that people think it is. Dave Lemnick, I'm terrible with names, and I'm going to get his name right one day. He's asked, what do you do to pass the time?
I don't know what we would do without mobile phones.
Yeah.
Literally just watch YouTube on our phones and do whatever. And video call my girlfriend and kids, and that's about it really.
Yeah.
Netflix and watch some films.
That's it. TV. I use YouTube. So I use YouTube to pass the time. I come on here, I do live streams, so you guys help me through with that. But yeah, I mean, you've been watching people getting knocked out on YouTube, haven't you, with boxing and MMAs for like the last couple of days and things. So JG has said, have you always thrown a heavier dart?
No, not always. My first dart, when I first started playing for my local pub team, was, I think it was 23 grams, 22 Andy Fordham, and I used to throw that, and they're quite a short barrel, aren't they? With a short point. I used to throw them with short nylon flights and short nylon stems and pear flights, and I have no idea how I used to throw them.
Yeah.
and then I went from them to 31 grams. Used them for a couple of years, and then I started using some 24 gram ones. A really old set. I found them in my local pub, and I hit a 140 first throw of them, and I just thought I'll use them. Just basically nicked them. No one claimed them. They were in the pub for ages, so I used them for, I don't know, 4 years probably.
I can imagine.
And then I
not
went straight
many
back to
people
the heavy darts, and then never looked back from there. Really. How long have you been away from home for then? With the Prix and this?
Yeah, 12 days, and it's quite tough as well, Ryan. I do miss home. I've just had a nice conversation with the wife there. I've even put my CCTV on just so I can have a look at the dog. So that sort of lifted my spirits a little bit. But yeah, I must admit, I miss home. That's probably my biggest weakness.
Yeah.
Even in the BDO.
That's mine as well. I hate being
even in
my kids and that.
Even in the BDO, Ryan, I just dominated the UK events. And you can maybe count on one hand what I won abroad. So I'm definitely a different player out of the country.
Kev G's asked a very good question. Both can answer this one actually. Best advice you've ever been given?
Mine was from James Wade, and I tried to talk to him at the Grand Slam, and he sort of shoved it back in my face a little bit. But he gives some great advice to me, and it's about practice, and it's about quality practice rather than quantity. And I sort of introduced that in the game rather than just throwing at the board constantly. He gave me some good tips about real quality practice.
Practice with intent.
Yeah. Right.
Best bit of advice you've ever been given? Probably here. Try these 32
That's
gram
probably
darts, mate.
what Glenn just said then. Yeah.
Bit of practice with purpose. Yeah, I used to have Steve Hine was mine.
Yeah.
Just sort of that friend who is a friend away from darts as well.
Just what you two are doing now. I'm quite envious, sort of, apart from the room. Did I mention this would fit in my bathroom? But I am quite envious. I said to Chris Dolby, if you get through the Austria World Series, share with me. So I guess, but Mac is adamant that he wants people to have their own room and get yourselves prepared in your own way. But yeah, there's a little bit of jealousy seeing the two boys here.
It is nice because, like I said, the loneliness is probably one of the biggest downsides, isn't it? So,
thank God for phones, because the TV is no English channels.
We've said exactly the same.
Don't know what you do with that mobile phone now.
Without that, I'd be struggling a little bit.
Literally at the start of the stream, someone said, "What do you do to pass time?"
Yeah.
And that was our go-to. Literally,
I can't believe I'm tired again because I slept 11 hours last night, an hour after the game today. And like I said,
we had a nap.
And like Ryan said at the beginning, it's just 12 days of Premier League. But I was with my wife in a good routine. Mac was on his best behaviour, whereas now he's just acting like the biggest child ever as usual. But we've got a good team. That 2 hours we have for lunch or tea, whatever you want to call it, is just what the doctor ordered.
Going back to Gerwyn Price.
Yeah.
You see him on the tour now. He doesn't warm up for games. He just sits there. Yeah. They'll call him, he gets up, hits 100 average, comes back, sits down. He doesn't warm up, he doesn't throw or nothing. Yeah. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, Peter Wright's quite similar. Yeah. And I'm quite similar. I'm not a massive practicer these days. I like to go in and do me early stint. I genuinely believe you can be practicing too much. At my age as well, I try to manage my body over a long day. But Ryan Joyce, I mean, literally, Jamie Hughes. No, Ryan Joyce isn't even in the. Jamie Hughes will have 3 darts practice, and I remember waking up Jamie Hughes for a Finders Masters semi-final, and they were like, "Where is he, Glenn?" And he was like, and his answer was, I said, "Look, you're on in half an hour, a semi-final." I said, "Go and have a practice." He said, "Well, it's best of 7 sets, so I'm going to be practicing loads." And what a mentality that guy is. It's funny because then you'll see some people just going in at 9 o'clock and practicing solidly. Right through, but no, I'm a bit of a 10 minute on, 20 minutes off, and get yourself ready for there. So
this is actually something that brings up a question of my own, actually. So I've been to one BDO event in my life, and the standard in the early rounds is Super League at best. Yeah. So you can warm up during the tournament. Has that changed in relation to the PDC, where you have to be first game could be the final?
That is a brilliant question, and as number 1 seed in the BDO, I was usually got a bye while people were playing, and then you play the postman, the milkman. Occasionally you'd walk. I remember Dave Ladley playing me best of 5. It's just absolutely nothing, and I was out the tournament before it started. I got away with murder in the BDO because I was playing nobody early, and I always said if I can get to a last 16, last 32, then I'll go on and win the tournament. But yeah, the standard in the first round.
A bit of banter once on Twitter, and you mentioned that a few years ago that life was hard and you had to get like is it Provident loan or something to go play county.
Yeah.
How do you go from that to winning 3 Lakeside? What changed?
Yeah, I like that. I like that question too. And without going too deep, it was an away to Gloucestershire, and I borrowed £120 off the Provident loan, and you pay something like 260 quid back, and and it's not that long ago. It's not that long ago. It's within maybe the decade or to 12 years. So. And I think that's why I didn't go and buy that massive house. That's why I've got a lovely house, I've got a lovely car, etc., etc. Because genuinely, without like getting emotional or things like that, it's been some ride. And honestly, Keith, sometimes I think I'm going to wake up. That's why top of the Premier League. I'm like, I sometimes I self-reflect. I'm thinking, is this really happening? Because 43-year-old, I haven't won a tournament yet. I'm an also ran in the BDO, and 7 years later I'm top in the Premier League. It's a real pinch me. Yeah.
Good question here. I've done a video on this for my own personal one actually, because I like sharing some stories. Said, have you ever missed a tournament that you couldn't afford to go to? I did this when I first joined the PDC because having multiple children and things, I couldn't afford it. I was working all the time, but I didn't earn enough because I was in my early days of coaching. So I literally had enough money. I entered 1 tournament out of the 2 Pro Tours, and it was in Crawley, and I could afford the petrol money to get me down and the Saturday only. And I beat Andy Smith, 332 finish, and it won me £200, which then entered the UK Open qualifiers. I did all right on the first day, beat Coast Stompy and Dennis Smith, and I needed to beat Michael Van Gogh on the Sunday to qualify, and I did. So. That was my story of some competition. This one says your luckiest win in the PDC.
Luckiest win? The real answer was
nothing in.
Yeah, I thought you just opened the wallet. What a hole this room is. Vincent van der Voort at the match play is what I'm thinking straight away. I dodged a real bullet and genuinely thought I was going to go on and win the match play that night. That's when I went to bed, I was like, wow, how did I win that? So I can't think of one luckier. Losing a couple of legs to Matt Edgar wasn't great. Vincent van der Voort for me.
Yeah.
Luckiest win?
Can't really think of a luckiest win, to be honest.
You were quite lucky with me against me in Europe once, weren't you?
Oh yeah, that might be it actually. That's a good point actually.
I needed that
game
win.
against Duzza. No, it's because James Wade pulled out and we had a bye the next day, didn't we?
So we had no money or $5,000 towards the that was that. I went to bed upset that night.
Yeah. I took out some absolutely disgusting finishes in that game. I couldn't hit a treble 20 same half.
That's it.
I had like three bullseye finishes.
That's right. Yeah, and he did what you should never do. He said, like, Glenn, I'm really sorry. I was like, that's probably just typifies the guy he is. But
Brian's in.
Glenn will be in.
If I'm going to
win, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
If I'm going to win a tournament, that's not the Premier League. That's the one where if I can get that double 16 going. It's a real leveler, Ryan. Have you do play?
I really like double start.
Yeah, so really it's a real leveler, and you could see more of an outsider win that if it's behind closed doors than
I think when the whole COVID thing struck, I messaged you, didn't I? And it says about I wonder what's going to happen with darts and all the events and that. And the first response you said was, as long as they don't take my Grand Prix spot off me. You was looking forward to it back then.
I've been practicing for the Grand Prix since the beginning of the lockdown.
So it's Peter Wright again. Sorry for keep dropping his name in, but he started about July. But it's part of my routine to double off, and I guess we all grew up local league with it.
Has anyone got any thoughts on Keane Barry?
Yeah, the best. I genuinely believe he's the best to come through. I mean, I feel a little bit sorry for Leighton Bennett because just so much was put on that young man, and I haven't heard of Leighton so much lately. Hopefully he's just getting back to basics and doing well. Keane Barry is very well schooled, very polite, hard working, and he's got his head on his shoulders. Bright future.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of Keane, but he seems very good. I've not met him, but I've been in close proximity to him. He seems a really nice guy. So
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched a couple of his games because I came up to Q School. I think it was the first day I went in there to watch him there, and I watched a couple of his games. He's quite quick, isn't he?
Very,
He's like a fast thrower.
lightning, but just a really nice kid.
Did he lose to Scott Wakes in the final the last day?
Yeah, he did. 6-0. It was 6-0.
Yeah.
Scott had a blinder.
A game like that, Ryan, that was like a game for you, which was like if it didn't go the right way for you, then it could have changed everything.
The Robbie King one at the World Championship this year was a big
Yeah.
one. I think if I'd lost that, I'd been gutted. I don't know what I'd have done, to be honest. I'd have been so low after that if I'd lost that, but I managed to scrape through. I think you even sent me a message after that, didn't you, saying like balls of steel or something like that. Yeah, so scraping through that game is huge for me.
Edgar TV. And this just goes to show, guys, you never know what's going to happen on Edgar TV. Hit that subscribe button. You can also find me on social media on any of the platforms above. Links are in the description of this video.